What's up, RSL Nation? It's your boys Adele and
the Baker, I guess.
We got a really special one for you today. Some of you might even watch this on video.
Probably not, though.
And you might ask yourself, where's the Baker?
I'm off camera.
So we're gonna keep him off camera.
Right here.
There you go. Say hello.
What's up, RSL Nation?
The whole point of this thing is that we're gonna convert it to one of our regular podcasts. We got a special treat for you today.
Tell them why it's a special treat.
Well, so we have to come up with a name for this.
Yeah, all the good professional podcasts have like names for segments. Know Thy Neighbor.
Know Thy Neighbor.
There it is.
I like that.
This is Know Thy Neighbor, RSL Nation.
Because I was totally gonna go a fireside chat with the Texian Army.
Yeah, that could be like the sub name. You know how like all the good books have like one title and then also
and a whole second title.
Yeah, there it is.
Fireside chat. Oh, Know Thy Neighbor.
Okay.
So RSL Nation, you heard it here first. You literally saw the sausage being made. Know Thy Neighbor. And today is a special day because we're talking with Pat.
Yes, sir.
Pat, do you want to jump online and introduce yourself real quick? Tell us whom you're with.
All right. Hi, everyone up in Utah, the Real Salts in the Lakes. It's I'm Pat with one of the Houston supporters groups, the Texian Army. I'm mostly their Twitter guy because I'm in IT, so people scare me. So Twitter's nice. Character limits, it's brilliant. Been in Houston for 5 years. Actually moved to Houston for the Dynamo. I was living in Florida before Orlando City was a thing. And I applied for only in jobs in cities that had an MLS team.
So, wow,
that's amazing.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, so that's how much I like soccer. I just wanted to be where the soccer was, and a company in Houston said, "We'll hire you and pay for you to come out here." And yeah, that's a quick background on my part. So
that worked out well. Now, Bakir, the Baker, excuse me.
Right.
Do you want to tell them why we're talking to Houston today?
Because we play Houston in like T-minus a handful of days.
Just around the corner.
Any second now.
Any
second now. I think before we really get into it, I think every RSL fan, when they meet a Houston fan, at least this year, should start with thank you.
Tell us more.
Not that long ago, I was sitting on decision day because RSL didn't play on decision day, drinking my feelings hard.
Oh, I remember.
We're out. Portland beat us. LA is up 2-0 over the Houston Dynamo at the half. And out of nowhere, those beautiful orange bastards decided to put 3 past the LA Galaxy.
Wait, you tuned off.
Goodbye.
I went for a nap.
Yeah.
I thought we were done.
Yeah.
No. This was like a whole season's over. I'm sad. I'm going to go sleep. Upon waking up, the most magical thing had happened, and the Houston Dynamo had beat LA Galaxy 3-2.
Yep.
Ensuring our, I think, 6th and final playoff spot was safe.
Yeah.
So, Pat, thank you.
Also, the team.
So, no, they can't do it without him.
So, I have to – I remember that now. Completely forgot about that. So, I'm not as bad.
How could you?
Well,
so the best.
I'm not as bad as him, but I was watching at home, 0-2 at half. So I was like, I'm gonna go see my mom. So I got in the car, drove to my parents' house up the street, and I was just sitting there. I totally forgot about the game. I didn't forget about it. I was sad that we were out.
Right.
I checked the live score real quick, and it was 2-2. Thank God for ESPN Plus, the app. I pulled it up and watched the rest of the game. And then I started texting you. I didn't get a reply back forever. So I thought you might have been dead. Anyways, we didn't see that one coming. So thank you, Houston, for last year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we pretty much rided on that because not only did we eliminate LA Galaxy, but we eliminated the Zlatan.
Yeah, definitely. And then RSL went ahead to eliminate LAFC in the next round.
Yeah.
So essentially, Houston had a hand in eliminating both of the LA teams, which if there's not a whole lot we can agree on, it's that that's a good thing.
But now, we have had horrible luck in Houston.
We've had an awful time down south.
Yeah. So why don't we just get to Pat real quick? Pat, I'll be honest. Obviously, we follow the CCL a bit, but what's Houston done in the offseason that we should know about?
So basically, to set this all up, last season we weren't that good of a team, but one of our biggest problems is we lost 3 defenders like for the entire season. Like it wasn't like a 1 game, 2 game, I pulled a muscle. It was just like they are gone. Like at one point, the front office was putting in their Twitter interns in as defense. Like you're on CB today. But the one other thing people forget is we were breaking like all sorts of scoring records last season too. It's just we had literally had no defenders, so we would every 10 goals we put in, we gave up 15. So for the off season, they basically signed all the defenders they could. We signed like 6 defenders, and I talked with the president, and they're still looking for more CBs because they don't want it to happen again. They're banking on the fact that our forwards are still going to be hot, and as we saw last night, yeah, our starting forward was subbed in late in the game and just got 2 goals, and we advanced. So our striking's phenomenal. They didn't do pretty much anything with that, but all the defenders they could find. We got like 5 new defenders and 1 midfielder because injuries killed us last year, and I love DeMarcus Beasley. He's one of the best. He's one of the quickest, but he's also 83 years old, so he's gonna have an injury this season.
I didn't know he broke 80 yet.
But so that was our entire offseason, was just all the defenders.
Okay, so you're saying you're feeling pretty good about the team?
I am, but I always feel good, before the season actually starts. I like to start off optimistic and happy before my hopes and dreams get crushed because I'm used to that feeling. So
yeah,
I don't want to start off pessimistic and go deeper. But
I can see those.
I'm feeling okay. And with CCL is helping me feel better as well about it all. The strikers are still scoring.
Take it away.
So speaking of CCL, I mean nothing quite like does a preseason well, kind of like CONCACAF games that actually quote unquote matter. So Houston has advanced. Do you want to talk about the CCL games at all? What you're seeing, what you're excited about? I watched both Houston games, but I want to know what your take was.
I'm just excited with how we're looking on the counterattacks because that's how we scored like 90% of our goals last year, and this year we still look just as quick. Like last night's game was delayed 2 hours because it just rained and rained and rained, and it was just like 7 inches of water on the field, and we still look like the quickest counterattacking team out there. So I can't imagine once we actually have 115-degree summers and everything's dry and the ball moves quicker because it was just crazy counterattacking when the ball was moving through mud. So that's what's going to make or break every MLS team that faces us, especially in the summer. It's just we're quick. Elis and Minotas will just run you down, and it's just not going to stop.
Also, the rest of the teams just die in that environment. That I've never. The first thing anyone mentions when they're traveling to Houston from the RSL squad is
heat and humidity. Heat and humidity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
If you're not used to the humidity, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
So having advanced past Guastatoya, I think that's how you pronounce it. Any like surprises? I know DeMarcus Beasley kind of seems to be drinking from that same fountain of youth that Nick Rimando and Kyle Beckerman have stumbled upon. I know he saved that first game with a beauty of a goal from just way outside. But any other standouts? Anybody that you're keeping an eye on for the season?
Hairston, he's showing a bit of promise. McNamara is looking pretty good. But outside of that, we're still few of the defenders are kind of iffy right now, but it's a combination of, almost all of them are new, and our coach Cabrera almost never uses the same starting 11 per game. It's nuts the churn he does. Like I think last year we had 2 games in a row with the same lineup, maybe twice all season. He just
sounds like
everyone. So I'm cautiously optimistic. We're coming into the season with everyone healthy, which hasn't happened in like 2 years, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think
there's still some proof to be done.
The only downside of a CCL run, and it's been a minute for us since we have had that problem, but the only downside of a CCL run is the bandwidth it takes, the focus it takes.
For sure.
Is Houston one of the clubs that's taking CCL seriously?
Yes, I think so. We played pretty much what was going to be our starting lineup at the away game, and it looks like we kind of bunkered down for the tie, to keep it at least a tie yesterday until we gave up the goal, and then we subbed everyone in to run them down.
Right.
Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of wondering what the lineup against RSL is going to be, because if I were a betting man, I'm thinking they're going to be resting them for Tuesday's game against Tigres.
Well, and that was the reason I was asking that.
Yeah, for sure. It's having looked at that second game, especially with nothing against McNamara. Is that how you pronounce it? But he's definitely not the starter. No. I think the Tigres game is March 5th. I think it's the Tuesday after the Saturday game.
Yep.
Do you this early in the season where points aren't as big a priority, like if you had to guess a starting 11, do you think it'd be closer to what that second game in CCL was, or can RSL expect at least the dangerous three of the Houston attack, if not starting maybe as a sub?
I think we're going to use the same. I mean, it's Carrera. He might just do whatever the hell he wants, but I think it's going to be close to what we saw on Tuesday because, if we drop points, because we're in the CCL, MLS has scheduled like the first 6 games of our season at home. So if we bomb out of the CCL, then we have like 5 home games, and we can just start racking up points.
For sure.
So here's to hoping you make it deep into the CCL.
I'm hoping for it too. I mean,
right. So
Toronto couldn't represent the MLS as well.
You did draw what many consider, if not like the favorites, definitely one of the favorites in your next round. You're facing Tigres.
Yeah.
We appreciate a healthy dose of realism here at Real Salt Lake. What do you think the keys to beating a side like Tigres is?
It's just going to be hit them hard on the counterattack. Just hit them hard. That's but it's going to be, we're not going to have weather on our side because we're getting hit with the cold front. So it's actually going to be like 40 degrees that game, which for us, that is awful. That's like me sitting in the apartment with like 2 pairs of socks, like 3 jackets. It's
just
the different realities.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm like, so you're having a heat wave?
Well, and also keep in mind, like usually during some of our summer games, it's 115 degrees out, and we're out in there in the sun, dancing, jumping around, inebriated. So I think, especially the Portland and Seattle fans, they probably would die, probably literally, in those conditions.
Look, no
Tale of 2 cities.
Easy come, easy go.
All right, man, let's get off the CCL for a second. Let me ask you a different question. Every team and every fan, when they face a team, there's a thought that's in your head, right? Like when I say Seattle, you think douchebags, right? When I say LA, you think
plastic fans.
Yeah, when I think Portland, I'm thinking
hipster fans.
Well, also I'm thinking baseball stadiums.
Right.
Under constructions permanently. And don't get me started on NYCFC. I'm thinking more money than God, but for some reason still playing in a triangle on the futsal field. So over the past few years, when I think Houston, I'm thinking trap.
Oh, yeah.
Trap game. We have had horrible luck against Houston. So let me ask you the question. When you think RSL, what do you think? The reason I say trap is because it's been a while since Houston has been good, right? Let's say it that way. But they've been not good against everyone but us.
I will say, honestly, the only thing I think of when I hear Real Salt Lake is just Beckerman. Like, he's been with that team for like 80 years at this point, so...
Yeah.
there's that.
That's pretty much it. I just think of Beckerman. It doesn't stand out. I mean, the other thing is I just remember how friendly everyone was with each other on Twitter after we knocked LA out. Because I remember like AJ De La Garza reached out to the Real's Twitter account and was like, "You're welcome." And Houston Dynamo official Twitter account became RSL's like biggest playoff fans, and
Yeah,
it was just a nice little relationship there. But outside of that, I can't really think of a style for RSL. I just think Beckerman.
got it. All right, so let's go a level deeper. By the way, Houston played RSL's best game last year.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean, there's a 6-1 against Latam, but whatever. Let's go a little bit further. Let me ask you, when you think Utah and Salt Lake, we know what everyone thinks.
Sure.
What do you think? Just open. Tell us.
Weird alcohol laws. The biggest mountains I'll ever see in my life. Probably like, are you guys like 80 miles up in the air? I don't know if I can breathe. I got that standard ignorant American geography education.
Got it. Well, it's like what, 4,000, 5,000?
Yeah, it's like I think the stadium's like at 4.5 thousand.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not quite Denver. Well,
Yeah.
Park City is higher than Denver, I think.
Houston, just for the record, comes in at 105
feet.
Yeah, just that's it.
Where's that mountain?
It might be one of the high rises.
Okay. 105 feet. All right.
It is.
Well, there's that. But we also don't get 115 and humid. That sounds horrible. Okay. So I'm not going to Houston in the summer. I can take heat. I'm in Phoenix all the time. I can take humid. I'm in Florida all the time. But hot and humid, that sounds like a nightmare.
It's the 96% humidity all day, every day.
Nice.
It's the 1-2 punch.
Nice. All right. So you have any questions about Salt Lake City, RSL, and Beckerman?
I do not. I think that sums it up pretty well. That's what I would think when I think Real Salt Lake.
So I have two other kind of questions that I have kind of written down as we talk. So first is, what's up with Houston attendance? I know a lot of teams struggle with attendance, and it seems to be a Texas thing as well. Are we missing something?
So we did have this conversation, I think, in the pre-show, but a lot of these major cities in Texas, no one is actually from Texas anymore. Everyone's just coming in from work and the oil and gas and all that. Like I said, like we have bars devoted to soccer, and at 5 a.m. in the morning, they are packed standing room only for EPL. So a lot of this is branding and trying to make it their team. So because a lot of people are like, I follow Man U, I'm not going to go waste my time watching the Dynamo play, if they even know the Dynamo exists, because there's not, I mean, I never see any marketing outside of like their Twitter account that I follow. Like, I just don't see billboards, radio ads, TV. Like, I mean, they were bragging about the fact that they bought like 2 billboards on Twitter a few weeks ago. That's where they were at on that. So it's a lot. 90% of it's just like no one's from the city, and they just prefer their team that they're from. Like a lot of people, everyone's from England or Germany or everywhere else, and are coming in from work. And yeah, they're gonna follow that team till the day they die. Like the Bayern fan club here is so big, the Bayern will send the Bernie mascot in every few months.
So you're saying there's a big soccer community, there's just not a big Houston Dynamo community.
Pretty much, yeah. Soccer here is huge. Like when Messi was here to play the U.S., they sold out the Texans football stadium in like 3 minutes.
Wow!
It was just,
yeah.
It's soccer is huge.
Where's the stadium located? Is the stadium located in a accessible place, or is it? Because I know, like,
oh yeah, it's dead center in the city. It's in downtown. It's like 50 feet away from the Astros stadium. They share the same parking lot.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I had no idea. I kind of assumed it was pardon my ignorance, kind of like an FC Dallas situation where you gotta drive for 3 days to.
I mean, it's not quite the Red Bulls, but it's literally in a different state.
Okay. No, It's straight. It's right in downtown. I mean, but one of the biggest issues is Houston is a sprawling city. Like I live in South Houston, and to get to the airport in North Houston, going 70 miles an hour the entire time on the highway in the mornings, still takes me about 55 minutes or so because it's 80 miles away from one border to the next in Houston, and that's one of the shorter jaunts. Like
Wow.
parts of Houston go out to the Gulf of Mexico almost. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. sounds like Phoenix.
Yeah, just
it's like you and I live in the same city, but we're 90 minutes apart.
So we have that as well, and the area around downtown. Yeah, traffic will get bad because all the major highways crisscross there. So all
is it
2
safe
million
to
people.
assume that the fan base, though, I'm assuming you have the season ticket holder sections and you have you're setting up tifos and all those things. Tell us a little bit about that, the soccer culture of those fans.
So those fans, so like we got two major groups, Texian Army and El Battalion. El Battalion are like they're the ultras. They are hardcore. They got the trumpets and the drums, and they'll start things. And they're usually they have a partnership with one of the local soccer pubs right by the stadium. So they just pregame there. Texian Army, we tailgate out of the parking lot out in front of the stadium, and we'll barbecue. Like we on like Dallas game days, we'll bring in like 100-yard long slow cooker and like make brisket and sausages starting at like 6 a.m. And we're more into like we're actually sponsored by the local craft brewery, so we're more into the cooking, just drinking, being very casual about it, just being friends. We'll even have the away fans sometimes show up at the tailgate as well. We're pretty cool with that. Inside the stadium, yes, we're awful and terrible people. Hate, yeah. Outside the stadium, I'd rather just eat and drink, really.
Yeah.
So it's two different cultures, and then like inside the stadium, we're all lumped into one big supporter section, and we just go as one.
Okay, so it is as one. Is there because we're for some reason experiencing this in the stadiums, and we are not part of any supporters groups. Proudly. Though we love them all, right? We love them all, but we're like, hey, I'm going to the game and we're doing this thing for fun because I don't think you have to be part of a group to have fun at the games. But what's happening in our stadiums is, what are we up to, like 97 groups?
Yeah, I feel like every seat is its own supporters group.
Yeah, we have, Section 35, Row H, supporter group. Section 35, Row G, supporters group. And it seems like they're having a terrible time trying to get aligned.
Right.
Do you have any of that down there, or have you overcome that?
Honestly, I think it's about 90% overcome. It's the two major groups. The problem is, like, I guess like something happened between the two groups like 10 years ago that like 5 or 6 people hold a grudge over still. But like I've gone over to the other supporter section, like the whole 5 feet away from me because we're literally just right next to each other, and I've yelled and chanted and sing. I'll sometimes go to their bar after the games and just hang out and party because we're all in it for the Dynamo. And hell, we usually are just doing the tifo and they're leading the music and the chants. So we're one voice.
Yeah.
So
Love it.
like there was animosity, but the people still holding on to that grudge, they've kind of just moved on. And you got people like me coming in, they're just like, I just want to watch soccer and heckle the other team. That's why I'm here.
Barbecue before the game, some beers before, during, and after the game. That's all it's about.
It's the dream.
It is the dream. I have one more question. Unless you have any more fan culture questions on that. Okay.
So FC Dallas is obviously the historic, like, enemy. And it sounds like you guys show up for the FC Dallas games.
Yeah.
Recently, though, this place, Austin.
Really? Did you read off my
I didn't.
notes?
I only saw your note just now. This place, Austin, has lucked their way into a franchise. Is it kind of a rivalry by geography, or do you like? What are your thoughts and feelings there?
It's a fuck you pre-court rivalry, and it's just the way it's done. And what's even worse is like their supporters group, their mascot is the grackle, which is the most annoying bird we have in this whole damn state. They come in packs of like 7,000. They only hang out in the grocery store parking lots, and they have this high-pitched, more annoying than a seagull scream. And it's just, they must have picked it on purpose because they knew they were going to be the bad guys. Like, when I saw it was the Grackle, I mean, that and the Vamos El Trees chant they were posting on Twitter, and like, it's...
Yeah, they're... Because I guess Austin's famous for its trees or something.
Really?
I don't know. I've been to Austin. It's like, okay. It's so yeah, I went to the Independent Supporters Council meetings up in Dallas a few weeks ago, and I was talking with the Dallas supporters groups, and yeah, we're pretty much all in agreement if it's fuck Precourt.
This should be just a nationwide chant.
And I was gonna say, as an RSL fan, I hate Austin for no other reason than
Precourt.
Yeah, how they handled the crew. So it doesn't sound like any special animosity because of geography, but just a general sense of arguably the most hated MLS team this year, which is to say something.
Without having,
we're mostly excited about the fact that we have another party bus we can take, but outside of that, they haven't earned the right to be hated yet.
Yeah,
you know, their owner has.
That's well said. And the funny thing is, every time I've been to Austin, I remember thinking this would kind of make a cool soccer town, because I can see it. It's very hipster. It's very kind of up and coming. It's but my only worry there would be the same that you're saying, Pat, in Houston, which is that there are no locals. So it's hard to grow the passion. Now, having said that, I'm not a local of Salt Lake.
Sure,
I've only been here for a couple of decades. Next thing you know, I'll learn the directions. So it's the same reason why I think, Vegas doesn't get a team.
Sure.
Though, my God, all right, we're in the middle of nowhere. We have one team we can travel to.
Right. By car.
Yeah. Denver. 7.5 hours.
And honestly, at this point, that's just like a sure guaranteed 3 points. So
it's not even
fun.
Yeah. And the one airline that I hate the most, Frontier, has made it so cheap to fly there. It's not even worth driving.
There it is.
Huh.
So, did you want to follow up on Austin?
No, you.
Sorry, I have another kind of question that I was wondering what your thoughts were. So, U.S. Open Cup last year. It's silverware, right? Let's be honest. It's a trophy. It's a CCL. It's a CCL spot. It's obviously success. As a Houston fan this year, what does success look like?
Oh, that's a good question. Congratulations.
That's what I do.
You didn't even look at my sheet.
Ha.
God, for me, just getting back into the playoffs and eliminating Portland again. That'd be ideal. I want to build that rivalry up because, man, they really did not like our goal celebration 2 years ago.
Oh, what happened? Tell us more.
One of our players got a late goal at Portland and just basically ran up and celebrated in front of the Timbers Army contingent. It was intense. They got so upset they just went to Twitter and made fun of how bad our field was and that we should be relegated.
Hold on, Pat, slow down. Did you say they were making fun of your field?
Yeah, Portland was like, "Oh, that field sucks. They're amateur," and da-da-da. They were literally they would not admit we played better. They were just like, "Your grass is awful." It's like, okay.
Well, the key word there, we call it the G word around here, is grass.
Right.
They play on plastic.
Yeah.
People in glass houses should not throw stones.
Especially, no. The saying should be, people who play on plastic should not make fun of any grass. I don't care if it's barely just patches here and there.
That's a much better saying. I agree.
Right? So, have you been ever to the Portland games? In Portland?
Yeah. I travel a lot for work, and my company will actually let me schedule my work trips around Dynamo away games.
Hey.
So, yeah, I went to Portland 2 years ago, and it was awesome.
Overrated stadium, though.
I mean, I liked it. The atmosphere was fantastic. The people were nice, and that was the first stadium I got introduced to a happy hour for getting there early. That was the most blissful thing that's ever been told to me.
I just think the Timbers Army constantly and continuously singing in the background is, after 10 minutes, I didn't notice them.
Background noise.
They just became background noise, white noise. I noticed them when they stopped.
Yes, I will throw this out there.
Yeah,
Portland, fantastic culture.
Yeah,
the actual facility is.
Oh, the facility is there. Well, I mean, we were there last time during construction, so maybe that's not a fair judgment either.
There is that.
All right, here's a question for you: most hated fan group in the league.
Oh God.
For you,
man.
I mean, for Houston.
For Houston, well, it's going to be like the FC Dallas supporters group.
Okay, so is that right? Okay.
Either that or their FO paid sponsored bands they have.
Oh, do they have a band?
Paid for by the front office. Yeah, they use them to try to drown out their own supporters because they don't like having supporters.
Well, and their attendance shows.
It really does. It really does. I have yet to see a club win a supporter shield in front of an empty stadium, essentially.
Yeah.
What was that? 2 years ago? 2015. So it would have been more than.
Well, 2 years ago, they had that awesome season, and then the following season
imploded.
No. Their attendance actually dropped.
There it is. There it is. Soccer in America in a nutshell.
All right, final question for me. Score predictions for this Saturday.
Man, let's see. I mean, we're kind of undergoing a cold snap right now, so it's going to be like 60 degrees, so you probably have the advantage there.
I mean, our boys just came from Arizona and Hawaii, so I think,
I'd say if our defense can gel, I can easily see like a 2-0 for Houston.
Okay.
It's just if you gotta be able to stop our counterattack. All of our forwards are young and they run the whole 90 minutes. It's exhausting watching them.
And then whatever, our two center backs have a combined age of 87, I think. So we'll be all right.
Yeah. No, Beasley's 87 by himself.
Oh, there you go. Well, he doesn't play on the other. He should play on the other side though, so that doesn't help us at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking 3-1 RSL.
Really?
Yeah, I'm totally thinking 3-1 RSL. They're gonna be depleted. They're gonna be looking forward to the Tuesday game. Who wouldn't? It's a once in a lifetime opportunity here. And we are 2-3 deep at every position. I'm not saying that we're awesome at every position, but everyone's gonna be super hungry. You don't want to piss Petke off early.
Sure. I'm gonna go ahead and predict a 1-1.
That's probably the most realistic one.
Probably, honestly, yeah.
and I think for the same reason for both teams, just fantastic attacks. I actually am going to go ahead and this is going to make it sound like I'm trying to make peace, but that's not at all. I genuinely believe this. I think between Houston and Real Salt Lake, you have the most underrated and the second most underrated attacks in the MLS. I'll let you guys figure out which one's which. So dangerous attacks on both teams, guys that can put goals away. I think RSL has the same problem that the Dynamo have. It's defense. So I'm predicting a goal apiece and then just kind of a battle in the midfield.
Pat, your thoughts on these underrated attacks? I don't think I was underrated. Everyone knows Plata. Everyone knows Severino.
Yeah, but no one's talking about Plata. Right? They're talking about Atlanta. They're talking about LAFC. They're talking about All right, so
you're talking about
underrated. Underrated by the rest of the league.
Undercovered.
Yeah, that's what underrated means.
No,
it's how
like the MLS had like a CCL preview on YouTube or whatever, and they were all saying like the Houston Dynamo were the worst MLS team out of all the MLS teams, and then one of them picked the Dynamo to actually go deep into the tournament, and the other hosts were like, "Why? Like that's weird." And they're all picking like Toronto, and now look at everything. 2 weeks later, it's easy on our side. It's easy to forget that we have a great attack when we literally had no defenders last year. So we were still losing games by like 3 goals, but we were still scoring like 3 or 4 goals a game. We were just giving up 7 or 8.
So your attack is actually, it's good enough that it's got some European interest. And for a while there, it looked like at least 1, maybe 2 of your wingers/strikers were bound for Europe. That obviously hasn't happened yet, or hasn't happened. Are you at all nervous as a fan for the coming window? It kind of feels like Ellis is the Panther dude.
Yep,
Is
Pantheria.
All but gone. At least until the summer comes. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean he's really good, and the Dynamo scouting him out was a huge win for us. So I'm just happy for any seasons we get out of him because he's young. I want to say he's still like 20 or something. He's crazy good for us having found him. Manotas was the other rumored person to be signed away, and we just signed him to a 3-year deal.
Okay.
So thank God.
So he's not going anywhere without Dynamo getting paid first.
Yeah, it was very unexpected for all of us when we heard that. They not only kept him, but they got him for 3 years. And yeah, he's on the cusp of breaking like the record for most goals scored on the Dynamo, and he's only been with the team for like 3 years.
Yeah, last season he had like the single season record for the Dynamo, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct. Yeah, he was just lighting it up. It was nuts. And Elis, he's great too. But when he's hot, it's just. But he'll go through a dry spell for like 2 months, and that kills us too. So one of the reasons I was worried is because they work so well together, those two.
Right.
Like if Elis isn't scoring, he's usually assisting with Manotas, which is what he did last night in the CCL.
Yeah,
they subbed them both in, and like 10 minutes later, assist over to Manotas.
So if you were RSL's head coach this Saturday, what instructions are you giving the guys?
I would have the defense like kind of lay back a little, because what kills most teams is trying to keep up with Manotas and Elis as they run towards the corner, and you can't keep up with them. Like just keep them like one of the drawbacks with Elis is he loves to take players one-on-one. He almost never wins. The only time he wins is when he just outruns them and literally just goes around them. But if you have to one-on-one and try to get through the man, he just almost always tries for the nutmeg. And it's like fetch. You just can't make that happen. So I would have the defenders just sit back and be like, let them run at you. Just don't let them run around you. Give them no room to run around you.
Petke, if you're listening, you're welcome.
I really hope he knows that.
Yes. But then again, maybe not.
Yeah. We have a funny coach. He's not big into tactics. Great motivator.
Right.
Awesome motivator.
And famous interviews.
Very famous interviews, yes. So, he makes for really good memes. All right, Pat, last one. He asked you earlier what success is. You said playoffs. You think you're going to achieve success this year? What's your predictions for the Houston Dynamo this year?
God, pie in the sky, a deep run into the playoffs. CCL, I would like a deep run, but it's going to be Tigres, and it's going to be an away game next Tuesday, where it's going to be all Tigres fans in that stadium. And it's
good enough.
Yeah.
Closing words. The Baker.
Thank you for your time, and good luck on Saturday.
Yeah, and we might do this again next time we play. Pat, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Hang on for just a second while we end the podcast. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I do have a quick suggestion for you for the episode title, because we have a huge rivalry in Texas between us and Dallas. We fight over a cannon, and like one of the things that led up to Texas independence was like Mexico wanting some of our cannons. So there's a flag with a cannon on it that says "Come and take it." So I mean, just to play into the baker's name, gotta be like maybe the episode title "Come and Bake It." Like,
there it is, folks. I'm going to become a personality in Texas.
I like it. RSL Nation, have yourself a good evening. Pat, hang on for just a second.